Good evening and welcome to the special meeting of the Halton District School Board for Wednesday, December the 12th, 2018. I'd like to welcome everyone and remind everyone that this meeting is video voice recorded and live streamed from the hdsb.ca website. I would also ask that you turn any devices to silent mode. We have a few absences this evening. Trustee Oliver is away and Executive Officer McFadden is away today, and we have Superintendent Etoff. Unfortunately couldn't make it this evening, but he's at a director's meeting for the Tim Hortons Children Foundation, and also Superintendent Hunt Gibbons and Superintendent Newton are judges at the Halton District School Board Annual Spoken Word Slam. So I'm sure that that will be a fun evening for them. Okay, so this evening, Trustee Reynolds will be honoring the land.
Thank you. Halton, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and the Métis. From the Anishinaabe to the Ottawadarun, the Haudenosaunee, and the Métis, these lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather today on these treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, waters, plants, animals, ancestors that walk before us, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for sharing their traditional territory with us.
Thank you. Are there any declarations of possible conflict of interest? Seeing none. Next, we're up to declarations and oaths, and I will pass the meeting on at this point to Director Miller.
Thank you, Chair Drabens. I'll go up to the front table there.
You need a microphone, don't you?
Oh, yeah, we got one. It's in this highly expensive case. Nobody came to watch it? Oh, I meant her family. Could Tanya Roach please come up to the front? Rocha, sorry. And we'll do it this way so you can. There you go. No, stay here, stay here, stay here. So, you have to read this.
Okay.
Declaration and oath. Say it nice and loud so the gets picked up.
All right. I, Tanya Rocha, do solemnly declare that I am not disqualified under any act from being a member of the Halton District School Board. I will truly, faithfully, impartially, and to the best of my ability execute the office of trustee, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or malversation or other undue execution of the said office, and that I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, as required by and in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
That's me. This part's me. Declared before me at Burlington in the Regional Municipality of Halton on this 12th day of December, 2018. So now we sign. Sign both copies with this special signing pen.
I, Tanya Rocha, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
declared before me at Burlington in the regional municipality of Halton this 12th day of December 2018. Now, there you go.
All right. As trustee of the board, I shall uphold this code of conduct. I confirm that I have read, understand, and agree to abide by the Halton District School Board's trustee code of conduct, policies, and bylaws.
Okay. Now you just date it, sign it, print your name, and then I witness it. Oh.
Congratulations, Trustee Rocha. As this is a special board meeting, we cannot add items to the agenda. So we are up to the consent agenda items, which consist of the minutes from the December 5th, 2018 board meeting. Do any of the minutes require any discussion? Now, is everybody logged in? Yeah, okay, great. Seeing none, may I have, I'll put the motion on the floor. Be it resolved that the Halton District School Board approve the consent agenda action items for December 12, 2018. Moved by Trustee Gray, seconded by Trustee Daniele. No discussion at all. Okay. All those in favor? That passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Yeah, you're on the list there, Trustee Garrett's. Oh, interesting. Maybe it'll clear itself. Okay, so now we are up to our ratification action items for this evening. We are, number 421, Trustee Professional Development and Trustee Leadership. Report 18163 on page 5 of your board package. Trustee Collard, would you like to speak to this at all?
Thank you. Trustees will recall I spoke to this at our board meeting last week. I've also distributed some flyers in your mailboxes that I hope you picked up. I know the Burlington trustees got theirs on Monday because we had a meeting together. And if you have any questions, please do let me know.
Okay, if you give me a moment or two, I will read the recommendations into the record. Be it resolved that the Halton District School Board use a portion of the reserve account for trustee professional development to cover the registration costs for the trustees to attend the Ontario Public School Board Association Public Education Symposium, including the pre-symposium, to be held January 24th to 26th, 2019, maximum of $7,975. Upon returning from this symposium, trustees who attended will share the highlights of the symposium with all trustees. Be it resolved that the Halton District School Board use a portion of the reserve account for trustees' professional development to cover the registration costs for the trustees to attend the Ontario Public School Board Association Labor Relations Symposium, including the pre-symposium, to be held in Toronto from April 4th to 5th, 2019, maximum of $5,225. Upon return from this symposium, trustees who attended will share the highlights of the symposium with all trustees. Be it resolved that the Halton District School Board use a portion of the board leadership and team development account to cover the registration, accommodation, and transportation costs for the OPSPA HDSB directors and the OPSPA Central West Regional VP Chair to attend the 2019 OPSPA AGM in Toronto from July 4th to 7th, 2019, at a cost of up to a maximum of $1,600 per participant. Upon return from the AGM, the OPSPA directors and or OPSPA Central West Regional VP Chair will share the highlights of the AGM with all trustees. Be it resolved that the Halton District School Board use a portion of the board leadership and team development account to cover the accommodation and transportation costs for one student trustee mentor to accompany the student trustees to the OSTEACO conference in Ottawa in February 2019 at a cost of up to a maximum of $1,600. Upon return from the conference, the student trustee mentor that attended will share the highlights of the conference with all the trustees. Moved by Trustee Collard, seconded by Trustee Shuttleworth. Is there any discussion on this rather large motion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor? And that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, next we're up to communications to the board, starting with the director's report.
Thank you, Chair Drevens. I have two items for tonight. The first is, as per legislation around the Director's Annual Report, the Education Act requires that an annual Director's Report be submitted to trustees at a board meeting in December each year. If trustees will recall, we've stopped paper copies of these, and they're online, and I'll give the instructions on how we get there. So there is no actual report that I'm providing to trustees this evening, but it's already there available. In keeping with the requirements under the Act, the report must include the board's strategic goals and the progress that has been made towards these goals and the actions the board is taking in those priority areas where the goals are not being met. The format of the report follows the operational plan progress report that was shared with you by Associate Director David Bogue in October. In addition to these strategic goals, boards are also asked to report on our progress in relation to equity and human rights. We have done this in alignment with the Ontario's Equity Action Plan. I'm excited to inform you that the annual report is already posted on our website under our board tab, Board of Trustees. And as I had said earlier, for several years we have been putting this just as an online report, which was well received by both community and by trustees. So that's the first item, unless there's questions related to that. The second one is I'm going to defer to Superintendent Ruddock. As you know, we have some accommodation issues in Northeast Oakville, and we have some plans for one of them, and we will be giving further plans at the next board meeting as well. So I'll turn it over to Superintendent Ruddock.
Thank you. Through the chair to trustees. As you may know, Odenawi was closed to new registrations in September 2018, and families were redirected to Palermo. We are going to continue to keep Odenawi closed for new registrations for the next school year. 2019-20. Given that there will be some open spaces due to grade 8s moving on and for senior kindergarten students moving into grade 1, we are going to offer kindergarten spaces to siblings of students who are currently in Odenawi. That registration will open up with all kindergarten registration on January 14th. And we will be really encouraging the community to ensure that they register by February 24th. The reason for that is by that point, we'll have the boundary review complete and the decision made by this board as to the revised or the new boundary for Odenawi. At that time, we will offer any remaining spots that are in the kindergarten program to families that have registered at Palermo but are within the new catchment of Odenawi, so that we ensure that we fill up Odenawi with as many students who will remain at that school as possible. For Palermo, there's very little change. It will continue to be a holding school for Odenawi for any other kindergarten students, as well as kids grades 1 through 8 on the English track and 2 through 8 on the French immersion track. For River Oaks, we have determined that River Oaks is full due to capacity now. It is at 120 students, and its OTG is, its total occupancy capacity is 801 students. So effective February 1st, we're going to close River Oaks to new registrations from families that live north of Dundas within the River Oaks boundary. River Oaks will remain open for any families that move into the community south of Dundas. We're looking at Falgarwood as the next holding site for families that live north of Dundas in that River Oaks boundary. And so effective February 1st, we'll begin a redirect of any new families that move into the community north of Dundas. We'll also be encouraging families north of Dundas in that River Oaks area to register at Falgarwood for kindergarten. And if we can, we will work through the optional attendance process to keep a family together, whether it's at River Oaks or at Falgarwood, depending on where the space is available. But that will have to be through the optional attendance process because we won't know what to expect in terms of kindergarten registrations from those communities. And that is the plan for now.
Through your chair, Vance, as for all trustees, you can see it's a pretty complicated plan. We have some real challenges in Northeast Oakville. We expect those challenges to get worse, not better, in the upcoming year, and we will be bringing some more communications for the trustees and more probably, I don't want to say definitely at this point, but probably some more accommodation, supplementary to accommodate further students up in the Northeast Oakville area, as we are quite concerned that the new elementary school in Northeast Oakville will not be ready to open September 2019. We know that it's sitting with the Ministry of Education, and we're waiting for approval. And until we hear yay or nay, we can't really give the community absolutes at this point, but we have made the Boundary Review Committee aware that there are some challenges. Thank you to Trustees Amos and Collard and the Boundary Review Committee staff there, Superintendent Pennyfather and Ruddock. But this is a difficult situation in Northeast Oakville that I think will get more complicated before it gets better. So we will give more information as we can have better, more concrete answers. Let's put it that way. Colette wants to say one more thing.
Sorry, just to add to that we will be communicating to all 4 school communities by Monday or Tuesday of next week to let them know what the plan is.
And that's my report.
Trustee Gray.
Yes, thank you through the chair. And thank you for the report. Indeed, it sounds to be very, very complex, and I'm appreciative of the fact that we have a communication plan for the direct involved communities. However, I wonder if the communication plan would also involve the city of Oakville and others that might need to know of these stressors that are building in this community. and possibly even through the media, because I think that this is going to be very contentious as we build more and more into this. And with the delay of our new build in that area being able to help with some of the accommodation pressures, I just like to think that our communication plan would be far-reaching, much beyond the community that are directly affected. Thank you.
Through Chair Drabents to Trustee Gray, the town of Oakville is aware. That I don't think they're aware of the specifics around the accommodation because we felt it was important to bring it to trustees before going to any of our other stakeholders. But we will. There is a media release as per direction by the Board of Trustees around the accommodation issues in Northeast Oakville, but also in Milton. That is ready to go and will be released tomorrow. I've shared it with the chair and vice chair of the board, and if the media picks up on the story, then we will be referring them to the chair of the board. But we agree with you. This needs to be a broader. In addition, I would like to say this, that we have had very positive conversations in the last 5 days with the Ministry of Education around helping to clarify and possibly find resolution to these issues. There's nothing definite yet, but I have had positive conversations, as has my staff, with those that look after our board in terms of capital priorities and so on. So I think there is headway being made, but as I said, I agree with you, Trustee Gray, but we wanted to bring it to you first.
Yes, follow up, please. Thank you. Just would part of the group that would be communicated be the members of provincial parliament in the area? Would they also be included in any kind of communication?
I guess, and then you can weigh in. Through you, Chair Drabents, to Trustee Gray, simple answer is yes. Yes, they are aware of it. And so, Evan.
Thank you. I had a really good meeting last week with MPP Triana Paulus. I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong. She's the MPP for Oakville North and Burlington North, and she understands our concerns. And actually, we're arranging a school visit to Odahnawee and to the Viola Desmond for her to visit so she can see, because Viola Desmond is the school that would be being built as a repeat build of Viola Desmond for next week, so that she can see what's happening and the 18 portables already sitting at Odahnawee and the growth in that community, and to see what the school would look like. So she understands the urgency. It was a very good conversation. It was about an hour, and also talked to her about the fair funding, and very supportive around that piece of it as well.
Okay, thank you. There are also meetings being set up or in place with MPP Parham Gill in Milton, and that will be attended, I understand, by Trustee Daniele, Trustee Garrett, the director, and myself, and the superintendent of facilities, Superintendent Pichetti. And also there is another meeting with Stephen Crawford, MPP Stephen Crawford, in the next week, and we with a number of trustees and as well. So we are moving forward, especially with the affected areas. Also, some appointments are being made with local mayors, councillors, regional chair. We're trying to do the gamut, and especially since there's at the municipal level, a lot of people are new or in new roles. It's a prime time to get in there and actually build those relationships right off the bat. So there's a multi-pronged kind of approach happening. Yes. Go ahead, Director Miller.
And I would say to piggyback, through Chair Drabents to all trustees, I would piggyback on Trustee Amos's comments that the purpose of the tours on December 18th is to demonstrate the challenges that we as a board are having around costing of schools and government funding for those costs. Just to remind all trustees, Viola Desmond was built 2 years ago, when the funding came in, and we were we were within budget on that. We're doing repeat design in Oakville, and in fact, not only is it a repeat design, there's a daycare attached to the Viola Desmond, and there's a daycare attached to the new school in Oakville, which is slightly smaller than the one that's at Viola Desmond. And yet the Oakville school, Northeast Oakville school, has come in about $2.5 million higher than the funding, which is also $2.5 million higher than what Viola Desmond cost us, and it's a repeat design. So the purpose of this is to highlight the school, for one, or maybe that's number two. Number one is to demonstrate to the MPPs that there's a problem here, and somehow this has to be rectified, however that is. So,
thank you, Director Miller. So, with regards to the Northeast Oakville, the tender expires on January the 8th or 9th? On the 9th. So we need to hear from the ministry before then. So just putting it out there. Okay, so communications from the chair. I'm just wishing everybody a fantastic winter break and a restful one, because we're going to be off and running as soon as we get back. So that's to everybody out there. Do we have any committee reports at Seeing none, we are up to trustee questions and comments. Trustee Clark.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I just wanted to report on the Student Senate meeting last night. We had a very effective dialogue with our student senators, both Trustee Meng and I, and all of the student senators. We started discussing ways forward with our constitutional documents, talking about things that we might be doing in the future, how we're going to make sure that we fit inside all regulations and such, just to make sure that everyone on the Student Senate, the staff, and other stakeholders can feel comfortable with the documents we are putting forward. And just on behalf of Trustee Meng and I, we just want to wish everyone a happy winter break.
Thank you very much. And I neglected to mention that Trustee Meng is not in attendance this evening. And Superintendent Pichetti is also unavailable this evening. Okay, so since there are no more trustee questions and comments, as our agenda is exhausted, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you.